Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Bacon Strips. Welcome back. And I have a little something different. We have a special guest today. Special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm his girlfriend.
Oh. And we just got back from seeing The Invisible Man.
Yes. So we're going to be doing a movie review. We're letting you guys know our opinion on the movie.
Yeah. Figured that we would talk about the movie, what we thought of it, and at the end of it all, I guess we'll give it a rating.
Yeah. Well, it won't be so much of a spoiler, but like if you've seen the movie, you could probably relate to how we feel.
Yeah, we can do a section of spoilers at the end or something. This was a 2020 movie.
February 28th, 2020.
Yeah, it's a horror mystery kind of movie.
Directed by Lee Wano.
Wow. I don't know what else it did.
And it includes some of like my favorite characters now, or actors and actresses now.
Such as
Elizabeth Moss, which is from Handmaid's Tale. The show on Hulu. Well, it's not originally on Hulu, but yeah. Then Stormy Reed, which is an up-and-coming actress. She's pretty young. And, yeah, those were like my favorite two.
Yes, two people out of all those people. So let's get into what the movie's about.
You forgot to mention that it's from Blumhouse Productions, which sets the movie on a whole nother level. Because if it's from Blumhouse Productions, most likely it's a good horror / scary / thriller movie.
Yeah, more or less.
I haven't seen a bad Blumhouse production movie yet, so
Yeah, I mean they've made other stuff. What other stuff?
they did. Well, they do all of the Conjuring movies,
Yeah.
so
And The Conjuring is one of our favorite
Top.
little scary
horror.
horror movies. I mean,
Yeah.
They also did Fantasy Island, and I heard that wasn't too hot. But you know,
Oh,
they also
well,
did.
yeah.
They also did Get Out. They did Black Christmas. That was
Oh
garbage.
well,
That's
never
what
mind.
That was the last one that we saw. That I was like, oh, they made another one that we saw that we didn't like.
Oh,
That
okay.
was Black Christmas. They also did Ma, which
Was
they
it?
did Happy Death Day.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean they have a few good ones and bad ones, but
Yeah, it's kind of
Still.
a mix. But I think they hit the mark pretty well
yeah.
with this movie. It is about Elizabeth Moss plays Cecilia, and Cecilia is trying to get out of this abusive relationship with her boyfriend.
Husband, I think.
Husband?
Yeah. I don't know if they ever mentioned.
I don't know. She tries to get out of this abusive relationship with him, and dude dies. She feels haunted by him, as the title of the movie suggests. I mean, things take turns.
There's this woman.
Without the spoilers.
Yeah, her name is Cecilia, and she lives with her husband, and her husband is abusive, and her husband is like one of the top most tech guys in the world, I think. So he's like, he really knows his stuff, and everything. So he's abusive, so she tries to get away from him one night, and then he decides to take revenge on her by plotting something cynical and technical at the same time. So he dies without saying any spoilers, but comes back to haunt her in a creative way. And yeah.
That's about it. After staging his own suicide, a crazed scientist uses his power to become invisible to stalk and terrorize his ex-girlfriend. When the police refuse to believe her story, she decides to take matters into her own hands and fight back. That's the official Google summary of the movie.
I thought mine was pretty decent.
I think yours was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I think that one gave a lot away. But,
Yeah.
I mean, this movie had a lot of surprises, a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of good moments that made you say, like, oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah, there was a lot of surprising things because, as you know, these days a lot of the trailers show a lot of the stuff that's happening in the movie, but like I feel like the movie progressed pretty well and did omit some of the scenes that were in the trailer and also added things that you didn't see in the trailer. I thought the progression of the movie like was fantastic. It wasn't like too fast or too slow where like things were happening. I think it happened at a good pace.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like I've only I know they've done this with like a lot of trailers, but I've seen this mainly with like Avengers Endgame, where it's like they showed things in the trailer that weren't in the movie, or they showed scenes in the trailer that they changed in the movie, which I kind of liked for this one, because the horror film, you know, they tend to give a lot of the scares away in the movie, in the trailer, and I feel like this one didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, props to
the director.
Yeah.
The story started off like it gave you the background and everything, and then literally as he was torturing her more and more, it's like, how much more could he torture her? It got to a point where like you felt her pain, and then that's when her revenge stages started.
Yeah, because, I mean, they definitely balanced it out in a good way. I feel like they could have gone different ways, how they could have not tortured her enough, or tortured her too much, where they're pulling all these invisible kind of gimmicks and you get tired of it. But I didn't get tired of it. I feel like they put in just the right amount, and then when she finally confirmed her fears and stuff, that's when the story took another turn and progressed.
Yeah. So I think maybe we can say like the goods and the bads of the movie.
Yeah.
So the goods, I think we pretty much just said how it progressed was pretty good. The fact that they left out some stuff in the trailer and added some things was also good. Another good thing was that the actors were good.
I love the acting.
I feel like everyone acted perfectly well.
Especially when you think about like the difficulty of some of the scenes, how you know, you're fighting an invisible person, and like that person's like pulling you and throwing you and stuff. And Elizabeth Moss, she did her role pretty well.
Pretty well, yeah. The first fighting scene though, I was kind of like, okay, maybe because you're getting used to like the fact that they literally fight an invisible person, so it's just kind of weird to see. Like, she was cracking plates on his head, and I was like, there's nothing there. So it was kind of, those are all the goods. My bads was the fact that there's like an African American family in there and a Caucasian family, which is Elizabeth Moss and her sister. And Elizabeth Moss, after her husband dies, she ends up staying with this black family. They never explained the relationship between the black family and her. So, like, I don't know why she found refuge there. Is this an ex or whatever?
The black guy is friends with her sister, because her sister took her there to stay. But I don't know, like, how good friends. Like...
Yeah, like, they didn't give any backstory to that. And I feel like this one would have been, like, really, really, really top charts if the sister was the girlfriend or the mother of the little girl. Because I feel like that would give her more of a reason to fight for.
Yeah, there weren't like stakes that were established. It was mainly like, okay, you're suddenly really caring about this family that you're living with, and yeah, they give you a place to live and stuff, but it's like, I mean, you're risking your life to like help them out and to help them succeed, and it's like, for what?
Yeah, you know? Like, it doesn't really make sense. If there was some kind of connection or relationship there, then it would make sense why she was like fighting to protect them.
Yeah.
I feel like the ending, I think it was a great ending. It's just, I almost kind of wanted her to do more. And I know, like, she kind of did an end-all kind of thing, so, like, that is it. But in a way, like, I kind of wish that there was more to it.
Yeah, I do think for all the tormenting he did, like, her taking revenge on him or her fighting back, it was much as I was
it was clever because what happened, and it was quick and everything, but I feel like the audience built up so much anger towards him. It would have been better if he himself was tortured in some way, not in like, oh, that sounds like terrible, but when I say tortured, tormented is the word I'm looking for. Tormented in some way.
The story still ended with some doubt. Like, throughout the movie, you're like almost doubting, like, okay, is this guy really invisible? Is she just experiencing these things? Is it like some trauma or whatever?
Well, I know he was invisible because it's called the Invisible Man.
Outside of that, it's like, okay, from the cop's perspective or from her friend's perspective, is she really experiencing these things? Or is it just like a hoax? At the end, it's not justified in the way where it's like, okay, is this guy like really the invisible person or whatever? Or...
Yeah. You guys just have to go see it. I think it's a good movie. I would rate it.
So the ratings here are...
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
We decided to mix up the ratings here. Instead of 5 stars, we're going with like 5 different levels of cooked bacon. We're going with Frozen, as being like the worst, still in the freezer. We're going with raw, you took it out, you thawed it out. It's just sitting there.
Thawed.
We're going with cooking. This is kind of like your average place of where you want to be. Obviously, you want your bacon to be cooking. Once it's cooked, though, you have cooked, but with a little bit of fat.
Yeah.
And then you have crispy.
The crispy is really good.
With those ratings, what would you do as?
I would do cooked with fat because I think that, for the reasons that I stated for the bad, like, I wanted her to take more revenge on him, and I also wanted there to be a reason why she was fighting to save that family. Not that you need a reason, but it would have been nice to know, like, their relationship.
I agree. I think for a horror film, it definitely had its shocking moments. I guess it's more of like a horror/thriller. It definitely had its shocking moments. It had some scary scenes. Not a whole lot, but definitely some twists and turns. So I appreciate that a lot more than just like scares. It didn't have a whole lot of jump scares, which I despise. So I agree. I'll give it a cooked with a little bit of fat on the end.
Yeah.
We can jump into spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, so this
turn
is
back
the
now.
spoiler section.
If you don't want to hear what we have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude dies in the end.
Yeah, he dies.
Dude dies in the end.
You said that too quick. Someone probably didn't even have time to click off the video.
Yeah, well, you had your time.
I was gonna start off with the brother, which is like less of a...
Oh yeah, so she kills the invisible person, but the person has a mask on, and when they reveal who it was, it's not the abuser. It is the abuser's brother.
Yeah.
And the abuser tries to trick the police and stuff into showing that he was tied up in his like basement or whatever. And they find him and they're like, oh, well, he was tied up, so, he's innocent or whatever. He couldn't have done all these terrible things. So Elizabeth Moss is like, obviously he did these things, he's just trying to throw everyone for a loop.
Yeah, and like she keeps repeating like this is what he does, like he tries to make her feel like she's the crazy one. So he found that creative way to like come back as invisible, but like even go a step further to trick her into thinking that her brother was the one that was invisible, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I had said why I rated it fully cooked with fat is because
like the fight with the dude's brother was kind of like the climax of the film.
Yeah.
And then like when she finds out that dude's still alive, she goes to the abuser's house, and then she ends up donning the invisible suit and just kills him.
Yeah.
There's no real fight between her and the abuser. Yeah,
like she didn't really fight or say, how could you do this to me or anything, but granted, like, she was trying to like give into it because the cameras were watching, so she didn't want to make it obvious that she was going to kill him. So she killed him in a way that was clever because he cuts her sister's throat and kills her while he's invisible. So she basically just did that same thing to him at the end. But I was just expecting a tad bit more of a fight of some kind.
Definitely. Any other major spoilers or anything else that you wanted to discuss?
Other things.
They had some good shocks, like when the sister died.
Yeah, like
and
that was
when the little girl got like hit.
Punched. Yeah. All the people dying in the hospital.
Yeah.
There's more to the trailer. If you guys get a chance, I would at least see it. I think so. I think it's worth a Friday night watch.
But would you pay for it?
Well, considering that we went to the cheapest movie theater in our area, yeah, I would pay $12 to see that movie.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Would you pay to see it again?
No. I've never seen a movie twice in the movie theater.
Okay. Well, I usually judge movies off of that. Like, would I pay to see them again? A lot of times, the answer is no.
Okay.
And it's still no for this one. But occasionally you get that movie that's just crispy enough that you want to pay to see it again. So I think that's a good place to cut it off. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll try to see what other movies we can muster up reviews on in the future. Look out for our special guest appearance in the future as well.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Deuces.